As a model, your look might be oversaturated in one area, but if you're willing to drive an hour away, 2 hours away, 4 hours away, catch a flight, you could be a big fish in a smaller pond or just an exotic fish in a different pond that allows you to get booked even more. Does that make sense?
5 shows made 3 million a week. You are now looking at the bestie elite. You are now looking at the bestie elite. You are now looking at the best.
Welcome back, besties. I'm Lola Shell, and together we're becoming the best, aka our best selves, this year and every year. But as the best, I must lead by example. So I'm going to be taking you to model with me as a full-time model and teaching you how to make more money as a model. Let's go. Now, I do want to lay some ground rules. These are going to be more high-level suggestions for you guys, simply because I do have a full school dedicated to teaching you how I do this step by step. So if you want to know more about that, definitely drop the word model and I'll send you over a link. So the first suggestion I'm going to make when it comes to booking more jobs as a model, and it has to be a suggestion because even though I am a model and a full-time model at that who works internationally, and I'm also a model coach, I am not your model coach yet. So all of these are going to be suggestions. The first one I'm going to start out with is being willing to travel. Okay, I know you guys have seen me in the car for a lot of these vlogs, but just being able to travel in general opens up a lot of doors. Here's how. When you're willing to travel, you open yourself up to opportunities that are outside of your area. And here's why that's such a pro bonus, right? As a model, your look might be oversaturated in one area, but if you're willing to drive an hour away, 2 hours away, 4 hours away, catch a flight, you could be a big fish in a smaller pond or just an exotic fish in a different pond that allows you to get booked even more. Does that make sense? So when I was first starting out as a model, I only stayed in Miami because that's where I was going to school. That's where I started modeling. It was the whole thing. But once I got done with school, I realized I have family in Orlando. I have family in Tampa. I have family in New York. I have family in LA. I have family all over the United States. And I have a valid passport. If I can take these skills and make money in Miami, what's stopping me from doing it in New York? What's stopping me from doing it in LA? What's stopping me from doing it in Dallas? What's stopping me from doing it in Atlanta? When I realized that the only person stopping me from making more money as a model is me stopping myself from travel, that is when I started to really open up my own opportunities for myself. Not just with the agencies that I was with, but also the work that I was getting freelance. I have successfully got myself freelance work in New York, in Austin, and in LA without having to relocate. So this is why I'm telling you guys, be more open for travel. Outside of being more open for travel, being a really good catalyst to book more modeling jobs, another thing to really keep in mind is your ability to know what works for you as you are and where you are as a model. All right. The reason I book so many jobs and in such a short amount of time is because I know what works for me as I am and where I am. If you need help with that, drop the word help and I'll reach out to you and maybe even set up a call. But for everybody else, I want you guys to realize that figuring out what works for you as you are and where you are is something you can do on your own, but it will take time. It took me years to understand, like, hey, based on the market that I'm in and my height and my complexion and my hair texture and my weight and my age and all these factors, right, that I don't want to change or I don't feel like changing, right? What can I do in the area that I'm in? What type of work is actually working there? What type of work works there and also fits me and I'm comfortable with? Miami does a lot of swimwear. You don't see me doing a lot of swimwear because I don't want to do a lot of swimwear, so I don't. Instead, I found other things that people were willing to pay me very well for that I could still do and have fun with. Case in point, this beauty shoot. This is not the first or last time you guys are going to see, me working with this client. But I want you guys to understand that the reason I was able to book this beauty shoot, right, and I booked it freelance. The reason I was able to book this freelance is because, one, I had work that showed I do beauty work. I had an extensive portfolio that showed beauty work is something that comes natural to me. And the client understood it. And because I could articulate that, it made me a better candidate to be booked for this job. Does that make sense? The last thing I want you to consider on this video for booking more jobs as a model is how you are networking. I cannot express to you guys how many job opportunities, paid job opportunities, I have received as a model because somebody who was a decision maker had either worked with me before, saw some of my portfolio work and realized some of the people that I had worked with, they had worked with, or just heard of me in my area and said, oh yeah, I've worked with Lola. Oh yeah, I've heard of Lola. Oh yeah, she does great work. Oh yeah, she worked with somebody that I know. And that's given me the job. That's given me the edge over somebody who might be just as qualified, but just didn't have the connections. And I'm not saying that you only get jobs based on your connections, right? Because there's also been some jobs that I've done, quiet as kept, and the decision makers have blatantly told us like, oh hey, yeah, I worked with this other model before, but she just wasn't a right fit for this. You guys were a better fit altogether, right? Or, I didn't enjoy working with that model, so I didn't want to book her for this, even though she has the right look. I would much rather work with somebody who I get along with better, or who brings a better presence to set, versus somebody who might be very skilled but is not good to be around. This is what I'm talking about with networking. It's not just going to a photography mixer and getting a business card. It's really doing those test shoots. It's really being a face that somebody could do a quick face on for a class. It's really working with somebody and connecting with not just a photographer, not just a makeup artist, but the videographer, but the wardrobe stylist, other people that are outside of who you traditionally think when it comes to networking. This is how you really put yourself in a position to book more jobs, because whether you know it or not, people remember you. Make sure they remember you for the right reasons and for their next project, okay? Here's the little bonus. I know if you stayed to this point, I gotta give you a bonus, right? When it comes to booking more jobs as a model, please be yourself. People can tell the fake. I don't need to explain this to any model who's in a major market, because you can just feel it, but you have no idea how many people remember me from years ago just because of how I behaved on set, the type of person that I am. That is what keeps you top of mind and always keeps people coming back to you for paid opportunities. You have no idea. I was just on a very, 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 very well paid set, and the makeup artist that was key hadn't worked with me in over 5 years, since before COVID. And she remembered me the second I walked in the door. Lola, oh my gosh, how have you been? Like, instant connection from over 5 years ago. I need you guys to realize that just being yourself makes you memorable, makes you genuine, and honestly allows people to really honestly know who they are working with and if they want to work with you again. Because there's nothing worse than somebody pretending to be something that they're not. Because when people find out, they feel like you lie. And if you lie about that, why wouldn't you lie about stealing? Why wouldn't you lie about not posting on social media? Why wouldn't you lie about your measurements? You understand what I'm saying? So please, 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 as a pro tip, be yourself. It always pays dividends. All right, everybody, that's it for this amazing YouTube video. So happy to have you guys here. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe and like so that I can know to post more videos just like this. And I'll see you on the next one.